So we've got a ceasefire hanging by a thread. The United States and Iran are locked in this really high-stakes standoff, and honestly, this fragile peace could shatter at any moment. Let's get into what's really going on here.
It really felt like the world was watching, bracing for a conflict that just seemed inevitable. A deadline was right there, looming, and then everything just stopped. So the big question is, with tensions this high, what actually stopped the clock?
And I mean literally just hours. This wasn't some long, drawn-out diplomatic process. Nope, this was a last-minute, totally unexpected announcement that just completely changed the game. Let's break down exactly what went down.
Okay, so first up, let's look at the announcement that came from the United States. It was a move that frankly caught a lot of people by surprise, and it came directly from President Trump.
So, the official line from President Trump points to two specific things. First, this belief that Iran's government is, in his words, seriously fractured, basically that they're a mess internally. And second, and this is key, a direct ask from Pakistan to kind of pump the brakes on any military action.
But, this wasn't just a simple timeout. There was some serious fine print here. For one, the U.S. blockade on Iranian ports? Yeah, that's staying put, which is a huge deal. Also, the attack wasn't canceled, just on hold. And finally, they kind of tossed the ball right back into Iran's court, basically saying, we're waiting for a unified proposal from you.
Okay, so you've got this offer on the table, right? A ceasefire, but with all these strings attached. A paused attack, a demand for a proposal. On paper, maybe it looks like a step away from war, but the real question is, how did this land in Tehran?
Yeah, to put it mildly, they were not impressed. The response from Tehran was, well, it was fast, it was sharp, and it was full of suspicion about what the Americans were really up to. Let's dig into what they had to say.
Wow. I mean, the language here from an advisor to Iran's parliament speaker could not be more blunt. He completely flips the script, calling the U.S. the losing side. Then he says the blockade, the siege, is basically the same thing as being bombed. So this isn't just a no thanks to the deal, he's straight up calling for a military response.
And this right here, this just lays it out perfectly. It shows this massive, massive gap in how each side sees the world. The U.S. is framing this as a diplomatic pause, doing an ally a favor. But Iran, they see it as a total trick, a move by the losing side to buy time, maybe even to set up a surprise attack. I mean, we're talking about two totally different realities based on the exact same event.
All right, so who's stuck right in the middle of this mess? That brings us to our third player, Pakistan. They're trying to be the peacemaker here, the hopeful intermediary. Now, just listen to the tone here and compare it to what we just heard from Iran. It's night and day, right? Pakistan's prime minister is out there publicly thanking President Trump, framing this whole thing as a huge win for diplomacy. They are really trying to own this, positioning themselves as the ones who built this fragile peace.
And they've got a pretty clear objective. The hope is to broker a real, lasting, comprehensive peace deal with plans for a whole second round of negotiations in their capital, Islamabad. So they're not just talking. They're actively trying to turn this tense pause into something real. So let's step back for a second. When you put all these pieces together, what you have is just this incredibly fragile situation. It's not one story, it's three different stories, all happening at the same time, and they're all clashing with each other.
And this table really sums it all up, doesn't it? You've got the USA offering a conditional extension and waiting for Iran to make the next move. Then you've got Iran completely rejecting the offer, calling it a trap, and even calling for a military response. And right in the middle, you have Pakistan welcoming the whole thing and trying to forge a peace deal. Three players, three completely different realities. And that leaves us with the million-dollar question. Is this a genuine move towards peace? A real shot at diplomacy brokered by Pakistan? Or is it exactly what Iran suspects? Just a strategic pause, a moment for both sides to catch their breath before making their next and potentially devastating move. The clock might have stopped, but you can bet it is still ticking.